Hi everyone, Esther here from Esther-Astro-Healing. I hope you guys all very well and keeping working on yourself and using each day as opportunity for growing spiritually and understand things on much higher level. Thank you so much for so many messages and emails I received from you and your support, and for all your prayers. What's happening right now in Ukraine and generally in the world. And some of you ask how you can help. Of course, you always can donate. And if your community organize anything, you can volunteer. But as Kabbalah is teaching us, there's nothing more important we can do. It's, money, it's always easy way for many of us. But the hardest way for us to transform and change things inside of ourselves. So what Kabbalists explain, in order for us to really to influence any situation, especially negative war situation in the world, it's our own personal transformation. And I will give you example. Let's say at home, you have a situation and something repeating themselves and certain conflict rise. And instead for you to continue with the same approach, you're going to change. You're going to stop. You're going to pause. You're going to restrict, because there's a lot of light and restriction. And you're going to ask yourself, I'm going to make right now another war, mini war in my home, within myself, or I prefer to have a peace. And I'm not saying, conflicts, they can be a really different way, right? We can, to confront, a healthy confrontation and communication, it's extremely important. It's not what I'm saying. But try not to fire yourself up. Try not to see things from the luck. Try to always come back to bigger picture and see how much you elevate people, how much your presence help other people to be better. You understand? Because there's no end to see luck in things. But can you imagine, instead to see luck, you will see mostly the best. I know it's easy to say, but at least we need to understand this is the way. This is the only way for us to bring peace. The peace starts with our homes, with ourselves, and then it's affect collective consciousness. It's always been this way, and it's always will be this way. And therefore, this is so hard, because there's nothing more harder than personal transformation. Now, this video, I just wanted kind of to start to kind of for us to understand where we're all going, because this month is going to be very, very transformative months. Of course, every month right now seems like, we're going to the next level. But March, what's really unique about March, there's two major events happening in March, and they're really going to set the whole year different way. Despite the fact what's happened before and what we're in the middle, we really need to understand these energies in order for us to benefit in fully. So what I'm going to do almost like a day by day. I will try to be more practical academics. So to say, just I will tell you the dates and event, and then I'm going to create separate videos on some of the most important events in order for you to understand even more. Okay, so to start with, we have the planets in direct motions during the whole month. It's Jupiter, it's the Saturn, it's Uranus, it's Neptune, Pluto, and nodes, right? South and north nodes, which is they're going to change the positions actually this month. Now, what's really important to remember, this month on March 3rd, I'm going to show you in the sky the first lunar crescent, because the lunar cycle we have, it's considered the new year, astrological new year. And it's extremely important. What ancient explained, they used to actually 48-hour celebration on the after this day. Why? Because the first lunar crescents determine the energetical force for the whole year to come. In really direct sky, it's happening in Aquarius, and in Western astrology, it's happening in Pisces, and usually in March 20th to 21. But really in the sky, the process actually starts according to direct sky, March 3rd. It's extremely positive event, extremely positive event. It's like a seed of the whole entire year, they said, right? And what's really unique, even though Jupiter is invisible, I'm going to show you something really, really amazing. It's one of my probably favorite placement in the sky. So you can see here the Jupiter together with Sun, along with Sun. Let me go to even March 2nd. Yeah, I'm going to stay in March 2nd, because really, if you can see in the sky, even though for some reason in astrology, in other astrologers, they're talking about March 3rd, but it's actually March 2nd. If you can see, look what's happening here. We have invisible Jupiter, but he's very strong because he's together. Look what's happened, the alignment. It's so beautiful. The touching of one of the most important degrees. Look, we have 18, 18, 18, and 20. So what it means is touching the river of life. According to ancients and even Sefer Yezirah, river of life is the one of the most, especially Jupiter, he's really in the middle of a river of life, right? There's a 7 sacred degrees in the zodiac system, considered one of the most important spiritual degrees. It's literally righteous souls coming from this location. And sometimes when I have a client who has a position touching the river of life, any important star, you can see how much desire this person have, how much the soul. And by the way, we none of us, even you don't have it, you're not limited. This is the moment for you to tune in. So tomorrow, March 2nd, I really recommend for you guys March 2nd to meditate and to ask from cosmic energy to give you, to have a, we say, et ratzon. Et ratzon, it's such a powerful thing. It's a desire. It says then we should pray to have desire, to have desire. You understand? It's so important. And this is the moment where you should meditate and ask for real desire, which is come from righteous place, come from clarity, with no with no filtration of agenda, with no filtration of fears, of of lack of nourishment. This is the moment. I really recommend for you guys, such a powerful combination. And I do believe we really change. We can change with our consciousness. We can change the world, because mind over matter. We change matter with our consciousness. Okay, so one thing I want to mention, in March 1st, by the way, Venus triangle node, and Mars as well has a triangle with nodes, with south and north node, which is a good position. It's helping us in relationship, because Venus and Mars, they right now continue with the long tango, and all of us challenge and is giving us opportunity to take ourselves as well to the next level, what is really relationship. And we have on as well March 2nd, while I was telling you about this tremendous event about the lunar crescents, we have new moon. And even though this moon in sky, it's showing its new moon in Aquarius, in Hebrew calendar, it's the second month of Pisces, Dagim. Very powerful, because this is the month we're going to celebrate one of my favorite holidays. It's Purim, because it's my birthday too. It's a day before my birthday. So, but not just that. It's Purim. It's what is really Purim? Purim. It's the only holiday will remain when final redemption comes. It's Mashiach. This is why it's, how we have Yom Kippur, Kippurim, like a Purim. So you see the illusion of sadness and happiness. So the Purim is extremely, extremely important. I hope, guys, you all will have opportunity to tune in. And if you are part of the community, definitely go and celebrate Purim. It's extremely important. And this year, the Purim is going to be actually on Friday, Shushan Purim. And by the way, I don't know if some of you know, how sometimes we have holidays falling on Shabbat. Purim is the only holiday in the Jewish calendar, in lunar calendar, never fall on Shabbat. How interesting it is, right? It's like it's so awesome. So this time we're going to have a Purim on Thursday. And then Friday, we have Shushan Purim, where we're really tuning to the energy of final redemption, of immortality. Remember, on Golden Calf, we lost immortality. And Purim gave us another opportunity to connect to DNA of immortality. You know, a lot of Persian people, they have such an intense and beautiful energy, and they have different connection to sustenance and into money. And why? Because Purim happened, and the Purim, you know, it's Queen Esther and Mordechai, how they brought unity between people, how because of the unity they brought among each other. This is when the DNA, the cosmic moment happened. The Creator sent the energy of immortality through the unity, because you understand what's happened, how important to tune to unity, never war, never separation. What is the cancer in our body? Cancer happened when the body rejected, when there's separation, when there's a unity in body, this cancer cannot be activated. We all have cancer, cells of cancer, but not each of us having cancer, because it's all about unity and balance. This is why it's so important. Okay, guys. So as well, on March 2nd, we have a Mercury and Saturn conjunct. So on March 2nd, it's going to be such an intense day. You're going to feel mixed feelings. I will tell you why. Because at the same time, we have such a tremendous energy, the new moon, the seed level. We have the lunar crescent coming, you know, the equinox. It's extremely important, right? Like I said, it's the seed level of the year. And then we have Mercury conjunct Saturn. So what's going to happen on a personal level, you will feel a little bit of blockage um, to be focused and concentrate. You will feel a little bit all over the place. Be careful how much you watch social media and media. Just try to be, I always tell you guys, your mind, it's not garbage collector. You need to be very focused and very nourished to your body, and you still need to understand what's happening in the world. We cannot be in denial, because we need to know to what part of the world to send our prayers and our energy. But in the same time, while we do that, we need to do our best not to be affected. So therefore, it's not going to make us lost at the moment when we need to be strong. Okay, I hope it makes sense. So the beginning of March, it's definitely very, very interesting, to say the least. As well, we have March 3rd, Venus conjunct Saturn and Mercury, and the continuation of financial loss in the global market. This is going to actually instigate even more. And, same thing on March 3rd, we have Mars and Pluto share the same ascension, okay? So Mars, Venus, and Pluto, they're going to say, like, really on the same ascension. It's and we have to be super focused. I'm telling you, we already entered the time. There's nobody to blame. There's nobody to pull finger. We need to become more powerful than ever in order to get maximum from the time we live right now, okay? Now, on March 5th, we have Venus and Pluto share the same right ascension as well. So it's really, really important, because the Pluto will try to make Venus more vulnerable, and as well, especially for females and anyone who connect to Venus and has very strong Venus or Pluto, you're going to feel this energy even more. So for example, you have a weak Venus, if it's, for example, let's say you have night Venus. In night Venus, it's usually women who more tuned to listen, not confrontation, which is nothing bad. Women should know how to be diplomatic, but on a certain extent, right? What payment, with what payoff, not to lose yourself. So this combination, March 5th, can perhaps make you more sensitive. And people who have strong Pluto, they will decide and they want to be kind of in charge and to make other person just to put down. So be very careful. So two things: do not put anyone down, and for Venetian people, do not let anything to put you down. It's really important. Okay, so March 5th, we have Jupiter conjunct Sun at 21 degree in Aquarius. And it's beautiful. This is so amazing. I really want you guys, while the Jupiter are going to stay there for end of the week, and in such an amazing degree in Aquarius, in the river of life, like I said, and now it's continue, right? This is a very optimistic, and it's really, even it's good for your prosperity, it's good for your spirituality. What I mean by that, if, for example, some of you have been studying some knowledge and you feel like you're stuck, you're not really getting, I hope you're in this place, because you cannot just study something you easily can understand. This is no growth. You need always to take yourself to the next level and study. If, for example, you study different words of tzaddikim or chumashim, or you whatever spirituality you take in yourself, always try to take you to the next level. So this period of time, Jupiter going to help you to, so to say, to borrow from your higher self. Remember, this is really important tools nowadays to start to really use it more and more, because the final redemption really here. We just need to learn now how to tune into that reality, and not to the reality of of the chaos, because we live in the time of Oy v'ashrei in Aramaic, the time of total chaos and time of total blessing. So it's up to you, up to us, where we want to connect to. And believe me, this is the most amazing time our soul's been waiting for. And many generation of our ancestor lineages, they they beg, they work so hard for us to be nowadays, and to give the best of ourselves to bring the final redemption. And so basically, to come back to this concept, our higher self, it's always beside the light of creator. It's the collective consciousness, only a small spark of our soul here in our physical body. So by doing the spiritual work, by closing our eyes when doing meditation, you need to ask your higher self to borrow the bigger understanding, the bigger picture, to understand the blessing and everything what's happened, and to activate even more blessings. Okay, so this period of time, it's really important, really good. And it's not enough, it's just exist in the sky. Without tune in, we cannot completely connect to. So knowledge, as my teacher Rav Berg always says, knowledge, it's the light. And when you know how to transform knowledge to wisdom, then it's really start to work for you. Okay, so March 6th, we have this is something I want to mention to you guys, because really on March 16, the two nodes, north node, which is in Vedic astrology called Rahu, and the south node called Ketu, will be changing the position. So the north node Rahu will be changing to Aries, and south node Ketu will be changing to Libra. But what's really interesting to note, they actually start to really not even March 16th, March 6th. And I'm gonna show you what I'm referring to. Let me go to March 6th so you will understand. Okay, so look at the nodes. It's March 5th. You see, this is the nodes. Look, we have 2 degree and we have a 2 degree, right? Let me move to March 6th, March 7. Oh, sorry, March 7. There you go. Not March 16. We have March 7. So what it's mean? We're already tuning in to completely new karmic zones. Because what is the nodes? Nodes represent, lunar nodes represent our karmic work we came to do in this world. And those, I'm going to make completely separate video for all 12 signs. I can, guys, express enough the importance to understand where your moon, not your rising. Do not check according to your rising, check only according to your moon. I'm going to tell exactly according to your moon in what house you need to do your work for next 18 months. And why not rising? Because rising has nothing to do with lunar nodes. It says lunar nodes, right? So it's only connect to our moon. So therefore, we need to know through the moon what house it's going to affect. And because it's going to be in Aries and Libra, what is the Aries? First of all, Aries represent coming out of slavery. It's fresh energy. It represents head. And what holiday we have during the Aries? Passover. What is the Passover? Going out of slavery, to understand what is really slavery represent for us and how we can start new. This is about new, a lot of astrology scare people. They say, my God, it's going to bring another war. It's going to, not necessary at all. In the beginning, every time when lunar nodes change, they always make changes, but eventually it's going to take us to really amazing, beautiful place. And North Node, Ketu, in Libra, what is the Libra? We're all Libras. What is the holiday we have during the Libra? We have all the high holidays. We have a Rosh Hashanah, the New Year, the seed, the beginning of our soul reborn every year, and it's in Libra. And what we're all Libras, by the way, especially during the Libra time and during the high holidays, we all connect to energy Libra. And what is the Libra? Libra represent 7th house, the house of relationship, because the whole universe, everything, it's about our connection, our relationship. So this is how it's important. I'm gonna make completely separate video, and I'm going to explain to you, because the Mars is in action in in Venus, and and so interesting right now if you think about it, because Mars represent Aries, which is the North Node movement, Rahu to Aries, and Libra represent Venus. Venus represent Libra, and you understand so how everything in tune right now in the sky. Okay, so move forward. We have March 6th, and we have Mars in Venus, and it's actually very, very important where they are. Mars and Venus, they in Capricorn, and they really join each other, and they already completely in full in Capricorn. And of course, we have a Mr. Pluto, can't leave them alone. He's going along, there, and we have a Saturn, which is checking on them if they actually behaving properly. So Venus at this moment, she's going to have a mixed feelings. She will try to feel like a queen, but at the same time, we receive two separate messages. Look how they locate. She's going to receive a lot of support. She's constantly receiving a lot of support from Saturn, because remember, Saturn loves Venus, and Capricorn love Mars, but Mars in the full force. He's becoming, unfortunately, a little bit malefic because of the Pluto as well, because Pluto represent, Pluto and Mars, they both came from Scorpio, right, too. So it's very mixed energy. So we need just kind of to be aware, okay? So we're talking about continue with the beginning of March. Then in March 7th, we have lunar occultation with Uranus. Listen to this, guys. It's extremely important, because no one talks about much about lunar occultations, but you remember I made separate video. What is the really occultation? It's the lunar eclipse. We don't have just lunar eclipse with moon and sun, which is the major. We have other eclipses with the big outer planets. And this March 7th, we're going to have Uranus have eclipse with lunar with moon. Okay, and it's kind of will pass in front of Uranus, so moon will pass in front of, and it's create this occultation. Okay, and it's going to be really, really important. On March 7th, another day, we need to it's going to be a little bit hard for people, not government. I will tell you why, because Uranus really, in a way, it's represent sudden events. It's represent revolutionary force, right? And what is revolutionary force? It's all about people. And this is why we need to really to understand the energy of this. And it's going to a little bit will create, you see the dancing with each other, lunar, you see over here. So this is what's happened here. And it's in Aries. Okay, we need to continue to work on ourselves and pray, and not to create additional war, like I said in the beginning of my video. Very important. Okay, guys. So move forward. We have in March 7 as well, we have Mercury. Another thing on March 7 happening, guys, and this is the day, do not make any important decision, financial decisions especially, or any decision. Why? Because on top of we have lunar eclipse with Uranus, we have Mars, we have a Mercury square North Node, okay, Rahu. So definitely to be aware of that. March 10, we have Mercury enters Pisces. Let me see. I'm going to double check something. March 10. Where my beautiful Mercury. Yeah. No, my apologies. So Mercury actually in Aquarius. And when Mercury, you remember when Mercury in Aquarius, he can become, so to say, loud leader. We all will need to speak out our opinions and our frustration. So again, always make sure you will touch spirituality to it. Okay, it's really, really important, guys. Next one, we have March 13. We have Neptune at solar conjunction. Okay, it's really, really important. So Neptune will have a solar conjunction. We're going to have, you know, if you, for example, musician or you write poems, you're going to have so much downloads. It's a really, really excellent days when Neptune in a solar conjunction with you know, with Sun. It's really extremely, it's good. It's really good. Now, one thing I want to tell you about March 10, when I look at this, and you remember my previous video when I was talking about the Ukraine situation, right? Because what's happened on March 7 is going to be a really difficult day as well, and March 8, so to say. Closer to March 10, things will start to clear, okay? A lot of things become more clear, and because we're going through so many different things, we'll have more clarity what kind of peace can come and what and how we can hold to it. So I do believe there's going to be more clarity on closer to March 8, March 9, 10, 11 with regards to East Europe and Ukraine situation. And guys, let's continue, use our prayers. Let's transform ourselves, because while we pray, if we don't transform, our prayers do not contain the same value and quality. But when we pray and we transform with our prayers, it's make a big difference. Then even after we continue, every time we transform, our own prayers become much stronger. And because every time when you transform and you have your own communication with the creation, with your higher self, with the creator, whatever you want to call, with collective consciousness, you create this alignment, you know, you create this connection, so to say, by bank account in upper level. You become more stronger, and it says then creator Kadosh Baruch Hu, he must listen to tzaddikim, to righteous. And each of us have a righteous soul inside, and every time when we transform, we entitle. This is good entitlement. We usually not to have entitlement in general, it's not good, but to have spiritual entitlement, while you transform, to ask from creator, I'm demanding peace, I'm demanding love, I'm demanding unity between people. Creator have no choice. He will start to activate other people's souls in order for them to wake up and to go through their own transformation. This is how powerful we are, guys. Just for us, I don't think we never underestimate who you are. Never underestimate. Do not let anyone ever tell you who you are, except they can bring up some of the qualities you need to work. Don't kill the messenger. But at the same time, if you're growing spiritually, if you get into knowing yourself, it's the most liberating thing. You get to know who you are, okay? March 15, it's another very important day, March 15. We have a sun. Let's see, March 15, I'm going to put over here. Refresh. Okay, we have finally Sun enter Pisces, and it's getting closer with Neptune with us as well, which is amazing, beautiful. So basically, the Sun in this position, and it's actually in the east coast of North America. It's actually in the 7th house. It's really excellent, actually, for the relationship. So we're going to feel more nourishment, and we will going to have more desire to give other people more love. So really good day. I like what I see. It really. March 16, we have Sun sextile North Node. March 17, it's going to be a little bit difficult day, because the Sun will be square on Black Moon. So do not get to any confrontation, and better not to make important decisions, okay? Now, March 18, it's really interesting day because we have a full moon, but at the same time, we have a Venus sextile Chiron, which is the connecting to wooden healer, and Venus will try to activate some kind of hidden insecurities we have, but we can heal that. There's going to be support from Chiron to heal that energy. And March 18 as well, we're going to have a sun in Pluto. And let me show you what's happening with the moon, because it's the full moon. It's going to be very special full moon. I'm going to make a separate video, of course. Okay, it's going to be in Virgo, which is really important, by the way, for Canadian chart. Okay, this full moon, there's going to be some kind of decision made in Canada, some new understanding which is will connect to masses, to people, is directly will connect, will affect people of Canada. So full moon, I will make the completely separate video about that. It's going to be very special, and moon will opposition with sun with Pisces, while it's going to be in Virgo. It's going to be some kind of final decision, because connect to Virgo as well, perhaps maybe with vaccination, with anything connected to the COVID. It's going to be some kind of new final decisions, which is going to open up new doors for us guys, especially those of us who live in Canada. Okay. Like I said, March 17, not really the positive day, so just stay kind of under low profile. March 18, I already mentioned. March 19, we have Venus square Uranus. So guys, March 19, it's another day I recommend to understand Uranus. I really recommend for you even to study what is really Uranus, because Uranus, it's a tremendous planet. It's affecting especially us right now more than ever than in ancient time, because ancients didn't even have much to say about Uranus. And perhaps I know why, because Uranus, it's really connected mainly to technology right now, right? And we all big part of the technology. Our body already have technology inside of us, our mind, our, you know, everything part of us, so we connect to technology, and Venus will square Uranus. So it's going to be something connecting, by the way, as well. Hopefully not going to be any cyber attacks. So let's pray for that. March 21st, Mercury conjunct Jupiter, and Mars will have a sextile with Chiron. So it's going to be Mars. Again, Mercury conjunct Jupiter is beautiful. It's Mercury, it's our mind. Jupiter, it's our soul. Our mind and soul going to be together. It's the best. So another thing for you guys to connect to spirituality, to higher learning, to higher understanding of things. So really recommend for you to use this day. Beautiful day, beautiful. 21st and 20th, amazing. Now on 22nd, Mars will be square Uranus, right? So we have Venus 19. Remember, they follow in each other because they have few degrees apart. So what's happened, Uranus first catching Venus. After he leaves Venus, he's catching Mars. So there's going to be new discussion about the peace, but it's actually going to, now we're talking about more countries, not just Ukraine. We're talking about different region. Perhaps, I hope it's not India and Taiwan, because this type of combination, the way how it looks in Uranus, we're not going to just talk about Ukraine. We might need to, but again, we need to understand if it's happened, it's mean the energy sitting there. We cannot avoid and just, you know, just not to pretend it's not happening. There's a situation with China, right? They're looking both eyes on right now on India as well, borders, you know, they're constantly claiming their space, and as well on Taiwan. So in other places for us to tune in, to send energy. And while we're sending energy, we need to think about people who live there, to ask their souls to activate, to look for the peace, really send a lot of love and energy to Chinese people, and always send energy to the government, especially to decision makers, lawmakers, those people, you know, if we elevate in our consciousness, we're going to affect the mind, we're going to affect the souls. Okay, now we have March 27, we have Mercury, and Mercury changed the position on March 27. Actually, let me put over here March 27. Okay, March 27. Let's see. So Mercury, it's in Pisces, right? Let me see. Okay, yeah. And Mercury, what's interesting, it's actually touching a spiritual position in Pisces. So another thing, you know, it's still closer to Mercury, always closer to Sun, right? It's a little bit invisible, so we're going to have a little bit like kind of no full clarity, but at the same time, it's touching the you know, spiritual combination of the sounds in the chart. So hopefully we're going to use that as well. What else do we have here? We have oh, I forgot to mention, then on March 23rd, Mercury conjunct Neptune. It's going to be March 23rd. So guys, listen, March 22nd, 23rd. 22nd, we have Mars square Uranus. And March 23rd, we have Neptune conjunct Mercury. When Mercury and Neptune conjunct, it's excellent for anything connect to art, to write poems, music, but not for political decision, because there's going to be so much illusion. Okay, whatever, use this day for your talents. This is what I recommend for sure. Okay, what else we have this month? We have March 24th, I already mentioned, or March 26th, we have Mercury square black moon. So day when our mind will be challenged with some kind of anger. So just be aware of that. You have the information, and just be in control. Just be in control of your mind. This is what the whole idea for us, really, to control our thoughts. Remember, we live in a time, it's called Gog and Magog. This is real war of our thoughts, right? So we need to know that. So this is the day going to be like a peak day where we're going to challenge the most with our mind as well. Okay. Now we have March 28, Venus conjunct Saturn. Beautiful. Because Saturn and Venus, they it's going to be like, they're going to be like become like one. So Venus is going to be righteous Venus, because Saturn makes Venus righteous. Remember, Venus, it's so interesting, because if you think about Venus, represent Muslim, it's represent you know, Friday. Saturn represents Shabbat, Saturday, represent Judaism. They're going to merge together on March 28. It's beautiful. It's the brothers, you know, getting together, brother and sister, and they will try to understand each other. They will try to balance. They will try to, Venus will explain to Saturn the nourishment. Saturn will explain to Venus restriction, how restriction, it's really important part of the love and sex and everything. And it's a beautiful March 28 and 29. I love it. And then we have on March 31st, we're going to have two separate energies. We're going to have Venus square North Node. Okay, but in same time, I'm going to show you. We're almost done, guys. I hope it wasn't too long video. Okay, so what's interesting, Venus, it's actually moving to Aquarius. Okay, but while she's moving Aquarius, she will have a square. So she's Venus in Aquarius, she's gonna, you know, she's gonna feel more social outside. You will have more and more desire to go outside and to social with other people, and to understand what's happening in the world, to, you know, to gain the energy you didn't have for the last few years. So it's going to be kind of, she's going to become more social butterfly, and more for the community as well. Okay, so I think that's all for today. I'm going to make very soon, probably in a few days, I will post new video for South and North Node for all 12 signs. This is very, very important homework. Remember, when I do personal readings with you guys, One of the main homeworks I mentioned to you about your south and north node, you always need to reevaluate, to come back to see on your natal chart what they represent, what is was the homework was given to your soul. Because remember, south node, it's your tikkun, your information you gain past life, your past life, and your nowadays Rahu, the malefic, why it's triggering you and how it be constantly trying to take you to the old trap, and how much you need to know how to work with this energy. And because it does not change position, and the energy actually start to move freely on March 6th, but they actually will be changed on March 16th. This window between March 6th and 16 is going to be important window. It's like a last week of the homework of the previous notes. And I made so many videos about notes. So you always need to refresh that memory as well, just in order for you to be prepared for the new air for another 18 months. Very important 18 months. Okay, guys, I wish you, as always, many blessings. Let's pray for each other. Let's understand we are one soul. There's no separation. I wish you guys many blessings always, and all the best. Bye-bye.